Hi, my name is Caden Kacmarynski. I'm a software engineer at Moreland Connect. Moreland Connect is a tech company that builds custom software, and what my job entails, I'm our chief AI architect, and that's a fancy way of saying software engineering, or you could even say AI engineering. Basically, we build custom software for clients spanning from healthcare, insurance, manufacturing. A company will come to us with a problem, we'll help them solve that, and what my specific job is helping figure out the solution and where and how we use AI in that solution. So whether it be capturing values from things like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, or using image, machine learning, computer vision, or anything along there, even talking or automated phone calling, things like that, I help deliver in solutions with my team. Let's walk through an animated version of a day in the life. So then in this scenario, I talked to an executive and he said, we have our head of finances, she needs help compiling reports, she's overworked, and she's got all these processes she needs help with. So then we can see me here working and looking at on-site observations. What is it like in the person who's experiencing this problem's shoes? So right now we're looking at financial reports, processes, documents. How can we automate that? Either use AI or just classical software to help solve this problem. And sometimes going on site can be going to manufacturing plants and hospitals, or potentially some travel, which can be fun perks of the job when you're consulting. Then I go back and I take all the information. Oftentimes this is with my team, and we start to build out, okay, what is all the things we just learned? What processes, what automations, what are ways that we can start solving this problem? And then we work in collaborative sessions, oftentimes on whiteboards or in group discussion about what have we learned, how can we solve this, here's my thoughts, and get feedback and input from the rest of the team. Then we go and we deliver this solution, we build it out. I work at my desk, I code solutions, help deploy apps, and then we have meetings with the business users and the head of finance or the executives who put us on this job, as well as the actual users of the process we're trying to automate or help out. And then if those results are promising, we can continue to do future work, solve more problems, or just help make sure that system that we built is maintained and continuing to provide value. So one question is, what skills matter for a role like mine? There's actually a lot of different parts to my job, and one thing that no matter which part of the job you're talking about that matters is the ability to work in a team, teamwork, camaraderie, and just the ability to contribute with others. Another is just willingness to get the job done, tenacity, or just relentless execution. If you're likable and you try really hard, that goes a long way in almost every career. The other thing that I think will suit you well in really any career is critical thinking skills. So just general problem solving. Can you seed new solutions in problems or pattern recognitions of problems you've seen before? Then you can help solve them for other people or other solutions. Now, some specific software skills that could help you. These days, AI is automating a lot. So you want to learn in the future, how do you future-proof your work or add more continual value? And data is a big moat. So data engineering, data warehouse skills, understanding how to access and move data, large amounts of data that really makes the world go round, that's a very valuable skill. The other thing that's very valuable is being able to interact with business users. And that's a fancy way of just saying talk to people, help them understand, help you and your company understand the problems others have. And sometimes if you think about trying to use ChatGPT, the AI can help you if you can just explain in English what you're trying to do. But that sounds a lot easier than it really is. So if you're able to communicate well, complex problems, that communication is this business skills. If you're able to do that, that's a very valuable skill as well. And then a third one is AI orchestration and engineering. Now this used to be where it be classical software skills of let me learn this language and let me learn how to code. Now that's still important with some of those raw skills, but you want to pair that with proper use of AI. So AI, we live in an information age now where you can use these tools such as you not only Google, but you can go and actually use ChatGPT or Anthropic's Claude or Google's Gemini, etc. And you can access these models and get tons of information. Now, what's really important is your ability to curate correct information. Some people refer to it as taste or prompt engineering. You have to discern what is useful, what is not useful. And one thing to keep in mind, advice that I would give to students or really anyone, is as you try to explore these AI tools, which I would also recommend you do, is think about, are you using them responsibly and are you growing your critical thinking skills? An analogy we like to use is the difference between weightlifting and forklifting. If you're weightlifting, think about it, someone's training for a sport and I want to get stronger, so I'll go do bench press or squat. And I'm doing something challenging and I'm moving these weights, but as I'm doing it, I'm getting stronger and I'm exercising my muscles. Where forklifting, I need to move something heavy and I'm moving something heavy for the sake of getting it from point A to point B. Where in weightlifting, I'm moving something heavy for the sake of making me better. And when you're doing work with AI, you want to make sure you're doing more weightlifting than forklifting, or at least keep in mind. So an example is if I have a problem I want to solve and I ask ChatGPT, help me solve this problem, am I asking, what are some ways to approach this problem? What are the pros and cons of this problem? Am I picking my choices and asking follow-up questions? Make sure you're reasoning, you're doing the thinking. Forklifting would be, here's my homework assignment, do it for me. And it may do that for you, but that is not going to help you become better or learn more. So you want to use weightlifting instead of forklifting with these tools and think of, am I training my skills? Am I getting better? The path to getting this job in terms of educational journey, there's a lot of ways to get into software engineering and AI. To be honest, you may or may not need to get a college degree for it. There's a lot. We live in an information age where you can get a lot of information online and use these tools. But again, it's important that you're verifying your sources, you're finding trusting information, and can you find a way to monetize that? Now, you could do this through internships. You could do like a boot camp. Or I am a physicist. I went to school for engineering and physics, and that served me very well. So a good default I would recommend to anyone is going into a hard science or engineering and working on those skills and making sure you're incorporating some future technology. Pretty safe bet. But you don't have to go to college. You can also just start building things and learn from them. And if you're able to sell those skills and show that you've built something of meaning, and maybe you open source something, you build it for a company, you build it as a passion project, those are all great ways to get involved with software engineering and AI engineering as well. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via email or LinkedIn and look up Moreland Connect. And I hope you found this insightful.